Ancient time, lifespan. This could be quite a long chapter, merits a discussion by itself, but we don't have the time or the objective to discuss all this intricate subject by its entirety here. So I will just try to bring the idea very concisely. First, let's bring up the notion that according to the advertised figures, if you wish to be a centenarian and you just feed up on the advertised statistic stating that lifespan just increases every decade and that it keeps going up since early days of the history, then we have nothing to worry about, right? We all live long, we are living longer, and our kids even live longer, and grandkids will even much longer. According to the Office of National Statistics in the UK, 1/3 of babies born in the country 2013 are expected to live to be 100. Right, great. Experts agree that estimates of life expectancy in antiquity are far lower than modern values, mostly due to the far greater incidence of death in infant mortality or in childhood. But these are all speculative statistical distributions. It does not tell you as an individual what is happening with you. The distribution curves are taking into account many effects that may not be your own case or pattern of living. Nothing really have changed much in our genes, and we aren't flouting some fabulous structure since antiquity. I suspect that ancestors have more or less the same makeup of lifespan. Individually, or you can draft a normal curve with a mean value around 70 to 80 if they did not fall into major plague or war. But the living style was different, and therefore the curve must be influenced by many of the cultural lifestyle variances, like higher infant mortality, women dying in labor, epidemics, wars, lack of proper hygiene at certain periods, slavery, cruelty, bad nourishment, burden of labor, etc., etc. It's enough one major plague, or the same with empires and conquest, to shift that curve drastically. Indeed, there were no antibiotics in modern medicine back then. However, no elements of the modern era, such as stroke, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, elevated blood pressure, mental disorders, and what have you. Of course, this is just a rationale, as we don't have a good data, and we even maybe they could had all these elements. But they did not know what they are and how to identify them and how to measure them. So the word life expectancy could be quite a misleading term. After all, this is statistics. And as we know, statistics has its flaws, especially if not interpreted correctly. Individually, nothing has really changed much in our genes or structure. It is mostly the environmental, cultural, and social effects that have evolved, which mostly bring the advancements, all these changes in culture, advancements, medical advancements, but they also bring with it elements of modern era. We are able to eradicate major ancient infectious diseases, but we brought new concerns, pollution, prolonged sitting. I'm sitting right now. New age diseases, solitude, isolation and depression, packaged foods, prolonged stress, insomnia and sleep deprivation, detachment from nature, obesity, overwhelming information flow, you name it. So if you analyze the curves of ancient lifespan, it is true that generally the number of centenarians per capita was much lower in ancient times, as we refer to the mean value, but individually, if you were lucky, it was possible to reach really old age. As today, some people reach really old age. Old age is not a modern phenomenon. Reliable references to individual in antiquity for centenarians who lived past 100 years of age are not easy to find, but they do exist. Several records in Rome, for Romans, for Greeks, Babylonians, they give description of certain famous people who passed the Centenarian age. The Hebrew writing of the first century sages describe in length the different phases a man passes each decade, where to reach 70 or 80 or even 90 may not be a rare event. Statistics have to be taken carefully. As a simple example, to assign the US life expectancy as a country may not tell you the entire picture, which, by the way, it's quite gloomy expectancy found for the US. But it is quite understood that there is a big variety within the various states, the various cities and the various municipalities. Without conducting any research, it makes sense that life expectancy in Southwest Central is quite different from Malibu. The socioeconomic structure is different, the people are different, the education level is different, the economical power is different, the crime rate is different, and life is different. So just taking US as one fixed entity and assuming life expectancy to it should not tell much. It is not a uniform distribution. You have to isolate the common cluster to extract its correct distribution. And if we mention isolating the common group, here is an interesting observation. If we derive the life expectancy of ancient Romans by people we know, like the leaders, the emperors, then we get a very low age, very gloomy expectation. Why? They were lucky if they passed 40 years of age. Only 25 of the Roman emperors died of natural causes. The rest were assassinated, committed suicide, or died in battle prior to this age. The statistics, therefore, hints that your chances to have greater lifespan as a lower class worker or even a slave were higher than if you were the great emperor. That's life. There is one of the most dangerous occupation. Still, anybody wants to be an emperor? So statistics have to be assessed cautiously and analyzed vigilantly and be concluded carefully. How did Mark Twain put it? There are lies, damn lies, and statistics. So more modern biomedical researchers have identified many specific factors affecting aging and longevity. A significant portion of longevity is genetically inherited in the human, and other variations are attributed to lifestyle, diet, and environment. We know the effects of these variations, but yet we cannot exactly drive a formula to each factor attribution. Long ago, Herodotus, the Greek historian, also suggested the connection between lifestyle, diet, and environment to older age. Only that he or they could not extract the secret of the formula. In fact, he described Ethiopians who lived past 100 years of age drinking milk and boiled meat. And this is maybe in contrary to modern beliefs. What changed? Or could it be that their gene factor was stronger than any environmental variable? As a person ages, the telomeres, the chromosome ends, tends to become shorter in every consecutive cycle of replication. Our lifestyle may contribute, our genes may contribute, location, culture, pace, diet, all may contribute. But still we have that internal clock. We had it back then, and we still have it now.